In 2025, U.S. tourism is no longer just slowing down, it's splitting apart. In March, countries that once flooded American cities with tourists, like Canada, the United Kingdom, and Germany, suddenly pulled back. Flights were canceled, visas delayed, and a quiet wave of hesitation swept across borders. Now, with April's data in, the picture isn't what anyone expected. Some nations are coming back, and fast. Others? They're turning away even harder. This isn't a rebound, it's a divide. In a world once eager to visit the United States, a question is emerging. Is it still worth it? In this video, we'll reveal 7 countries that are no longer on the same path, some returning with caution, others retreating with conviction. And what happens next may redefine how the world sees America for years to come. Number 1, Canada. Canada has long been one of America's most dependable tourism partners, but that familiar flow of travelers is quietly breaking down. In March, we saw a steep drop in Canadian travel to the U.S., and now, new April data shows the decline is getting worse. According to Statistics Canada, return trips by air fell nearly 20%, while land crossings plummeted over 35% compared to last year. This isn't a seasonal shift. It's a sharp continuation of a deeper trend. For many Canadians, the decision isn't just practical, it's political. President Trump's renewed tariff threats and rhetoric about Canada becoming the 51st state have sparked widespread resentment. Travel forums are filled with Canadians calling for boycotts, with some even canceling long-planned U.S. vacations or selling their properties down south. Instead, they're choosing other destinations, especially Mexico. Canadian visits to Mexico rose by 15.6% in March compared to last year, and Airbnb bookings from Canadians surged 27% over the past year. As Mexico's tourism secretary explained, "I think they are choosing more friendly policies. Airlines are adjusting too. Air Canada is cutting U.S. routes and adding flights to Cancun and Puerto Vallarta." For decades, Canadians led global travel into the U.S., but in 2025, the message is shifting, and April's data makes it clear the pullback is accelerating. But just as one neighbor pulls back, another longtime ally is starting to show signs of return, though not without complications. Number 2, United Kingdom. At first glance, the United Kingdom looks like it's coming back. In April, travel to the United States jumped by over 15% year over year, a welcome headline after a sharp decline in March. But the pattern isn't linear. In March, tourism from the UK dropped 21%, while business travel rose by the same amount. In April, that flipped. Tourist visa arrivals jumped 20.7%, while business travel fell 15.2% compared to last year. It's an odd shift, and it points to something deeper. Vacationers may be coming back for spring getaways, but business travelers, the ones who stay longer, spend more, and signal deeper confidence, are pulling away. And the reasons go beyond budgets. As The Guardian reports, many UK travelers are rethinking US trips amid rising border anxiety and political uncertainty. Immigration lawyers now advise clients to scrub their phones and social media, warning that even lawful visitors could be denied entry based on their views. One civil liberties lawyer put it simply, "The safest approach is not to travel with data you wouldn't want the US government to access." The UK may be returning on paper, but under the surface, the relationship is still strained. And while that strain lingers quietly in one corner of Europe, just across the border, another country is turning hesitation into retreat. Number 3, France. In March, France showed signs of pulling back from the United States, with total travel down 8% year over year. In April, that retreat didn't slow, it accelerated. Total arrivals dropped by 12.2%, with both tourism and business travel falling sharply. Business visits, which had been rising in March, fell by 13.6%. According to the BBC, some American tourists in Paris are now covering logos, hiding flag pins, even carrying Canadian badges, hoping to avoid unwanted attention. "We're sick about it, it's horrible," one visitor said, after taping over the US flag on his cap. If that's how some Americans feel walking through Paris, imagine how French travelers feel about entering the US. One recent poll found that 73% of French citizens no longer view the United States as an ally. France's top travel guide publisher reports a 25% drop in US guidebook sales, while interest in Canada and other alternatives is rising. As one expert put it, they don't want to spend their money in the United States. This shift reflects deeper disillusionment, tied not just to tariffs, but to broader frustrations over how America has treated its allies, from Ukraine and Greenland to Canada. Former French President François Hollande put it bluntly, "The American people remain our friend, but Trump is no longer our ally." But even as some step back in protest, others are moving forward, only to find themselves questioning whether they should have come at all. Number 4. Germany. On paper, Germany came back in April. Total arrivals to the US were up nearly 15%, with tourism rising more than 23%. But zoom out, and the story looks very different. In March, Germany recorded one of the steepest declines of any major travel partner, down 28% overall, with tourism dropping 36%. Business travel has since collapsed, falling by 23.5% in April, after growing the month before. So what changed? Nothing fundamental. In fact, the headlines have only gotten worse. This spring, multiple German travelers made international news after being detained at US borders. A 19-year-old strip-searched in Hawaii. A permanent resident locked up for 2 months. A Berlin tattoo artist jailed for 6 weeks while trying to visit a friend. These stories shocked German audiences and shattered public trust. Germany's foreign ministry issued a travel advisory, warning that even valid visas don't guarantee entry. The foreign minister called the treatment of German citizens unacceptable. And this retreat isn't just about travel. In a national poll, 94% said they would never buy a Tesla. Airfares from Germany to California have dropped by half, as demand falls in one of their favorite US destinations. And while Germany pulls back with intensity, across the Pacific, another country isn't retreating or returning. It's simply standing still. Number 5. Australia. From a distance, the numbers suggest stability. In April, travel from Australia to the United States was up just 1% year over year. Tourism ticked upward slightly, but business travel quietly fell by over 7%, and total visits remain far below pre-pandemic levels. This isn't a comeback, it's a stall. Australia's largest travel agency, Flight Centre, says leisure travel to the US fell by 16% in April, while business trips dropped 7%. Its CEO called it a significant downturn. A recent national poll adds more context. The US fell from the 5th to the 7th most popular international destination among Australians this autumn. Only 6% of travelers are planning to go, down from 8% the year before. At the same time, the Australian government has updated its US travel warnings 3 times since April. New advisories warn of strict border enforcement, electronic searches, and a requirement to carry valid ID at all times, even on domestic flights. Some LGBTQIA+ travelers are even memorizing lawyer contacts and deleting phone data before departure. This isn't rejection, it's hesitation. The dream of visiting America still exists, but for now, many are holding it at arm's length. But in another corner of the world, the hesitation isn't quiet. It's turning into something more personal and more political. Number 6. Denmark. At first glance, Denmark appears to be returning. In April, travel to the US rose by nearly 10% year over year, led by a rebound in tourism. But just 1 month earlier, overall travel had collapsed by 34%, and tourism was down nearly 45%. Even now, the trend is unstable. Business travel, which had grown in March, reversed, falling 29.1% in April. Student travel is still declining. It's not a retreat, but it's not confidence either. And the tension runs deeper than the numbers. In May, Denmark summoned the top US diplomat in Copenhagen after reports that Washington was spying on Greenland's independence movement, an issue tied closely to Danish identity. The foreign minister called it very worrying, adding, "You cannot spy on a friend." That mistrust is bleeding into everyday choices, from what people buy to where they feel welcome. Carlsberg, which bottles Coca-Cola in Denmark, says Coke sales are falling due to a growing boycott of U.S. brands, fueled by tariffs, rhetoric, and moves like the attempted Greenland takeover. And for many, those same frustrations are making U.S. travel feel less appealing. Denmark hasn't broken with the U.S., but the relationship is less certain than it used to be. And just when it seems like the dust is settling, we find one more shift, driven not by headlines, but by values. Number 7. Sweden. Sweden's travel to the U.S. rebounded in April, up 21.6% year-over-year, with tourism rising more than 22%. But this came after one of the steepest declines in March, when total arrivals dropped nearly 17%, and tourism fell 25.6%. And not all travel is recovering. Business visits, which had risen the month before, reversed hard in April, falling by 22%. Student travel has remained flat. For a country known for global curiosity and cross-border engagement, these shifts stand out. But for many Swedes, the hesitation isn't about paperwork or planning. It's about principle. In a recent YouGov poll, 63% of Swedes reported an unfavorable view of the United States, a sharp rise tied to concerns over politics, border treatment, and values. Quietly, some firms are delaying trips. Travelers are second-guessing itineraries, and public conversation is starting to reflect a deeper discomfort. Sweden has long seen travel as more than tourism. It's cultural exchange, its identity. And in 2025, the United States feels increasingly out of step with both. This isn't a protest, it's a pause, driven not by fear, but by conscience. Across these 7 countries, the reactions to the U.S. are diverging. Some are pulling back, others are starting to return. But in nearly every case, one trend stands out. Business travel is falling, even where tourism rebounds. That pattern says something deeper, not just about policy, but perception, about how people feel when they think about visiting the United States in 2025. This isn't just a shift in numbers, it's a shift in sentiment. And as that sentiment fades, global travel may not return the way it once did. Because the divide isn't just about flights and visas, it's about trust. And when trust breaks, recovery isn't measured in charts or bookings. It's measured in years,